working on my Icarus painting, which is the shortened title. The actual title is I'm Like Icarus, but I Know How to Swim. And for the last few weeks, my Icarus painting has been a real challenge. I always have challenging days with painting. I mean, painting is challenging, but when the challenges are making painting unfun, and then unfun for a long time, like weeks, then I like to take a step back and reevaluate my painting, the image, and my mindset towards it. And that is what I did for my Icarus painting, which means that I take my journal and write out everything that I'm feeling about it. And writing, instead of just thinking about it, I find so extremely helpful. And for some reason, it just makes a really big difference to write about it. So doing this, I thought about the image, not what the painting looks like right now, but what my goal for what the painting will look like subject-wise, composition-wise, and also storytelling-wise. And I still love the image just as much as when I first came up with it. I really believe in the image. It's a woman that made wings so she could fly, but ended up flying too close to the sun, and the sun melted the wax that held the wings together, and she falls into the ocean. But she does not die because, unlike the original Icarus story, she knows how to swim and take care of herself. So she will make it out of the ocean and be able to make another set of wings if she wants to, try again. I love the composition as well, with the figure glowing in the center, with a giant damaged wing that's sinking in the ocean behind her, and then another wing that's sinking in front of her. And just subject-wise, if you don't know the Icarus story at all, I still think it's a really beautiful image in and of itself. So then I will reflect on my mindset towards the painting process. And this is where that I find needs some adjustment. It's like, this is the issue. Now, this painting has so many firsts for me. I have drawn my self-portrait before, but this would be my first painted self-portrait. And I'm looking in the mirror for painting myself, which has its own complications. And then everything else is made up out of my head, which I normally don't do. I've sketched that way before, but I haven't painted that way where I'm painting something out of my head. I'm usually looking at something that's physically there and painting it that way. And I do have some bird wings that I'm using for reference, but I am changing a lot of things about them to make them work for my painting. And now, while this is all challenging, it's all good and fine because I want to make sure that I want to be making paintings like this in the future. So this isn't the problem thing. Though in the future for my next big painting, I'm going to plan out the painting a lot more. I did make a study for the facial expression that I wanted the figure to have, and I made a value drawing of the painting. But now, while I am in the painting process, I wish I did more studies, like a color study and a study of the wings, drawing it, painting it, and how I was also going to paint the water and how exactly that was going to look. And I don't want everything figured out perfectly to a T, because then the painting process probably wouldn't feel as fun and as exploratory, which is a really nice feeling when you're painting. But I feel like I am painting in this really inefficient way right now, as I'm just figuring things out on the spot, and which again is fine and no worries. I mean, this is a huge learning process for making paintings like these. But what I feel is causing me not to have fun with making this painting is that I have been putting strict deadlines on myself for this painting, and which I'll try and estimate how long it will take to paint and then make a deadline for when I want it finished. But then I would have gone past that deadline about 3 or more times. And now I think deadlines are good because it means I am being efficient with my time. But I've found that with this painting, when I have a deadline looming ahead, I'm tending to freeze up or something. It's I don't want to make a mistake because that means it would just take more time to correct that mistake, and I feel like I can't waste time if I'm like trying to get the to accomplish that arbitrary deadline that I made up for myself. And for this particular painting where I'm figuring so much out on the spot and while I go, because I haven't planned it out super well with studies like I'll do in the future, I found it's better not to have a deadline. And for about a week, I had like scrapped the deadline, and now the painting process for this painting, it's so fun, and I feel like I can just be curious and explore with it. And but at the same time, I don't want to be painting this painting forever. I don't want to be a perfectionist where the painting is never finished. I'm never going to be satisfied with it, so I just keep working on it forever. But I actually am finding for this painting, at least, that not having a deadline, I feel freer. And so I am painting faster and getting more done than when I had the deadline in place, which is counterintuitive. Once I do finish this other still life painting, I have a second project going on. I'm going to start work on another large scale figure painting like this Icarus one, but the newer large scale painting is going to have more figures in it, and it's going to be more obviously complex because it'll have more figures in it. And I plan to share the progress from beginning concept to studies all the way to the finish and share that all here in my video diaries. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm hoping that this next large scale figure painting will go a bit smoother than the Icarus, and more and more and more and more so as I keep making these types of paintings. I'm Jennifer Marie Keller. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, comment and like this video because it really does help me out. I put out new videos for my Diary of a Painter series every Sunday, and then I put out a new video in my new series, Diary of a Pregnant Artist, every Wednesday.